And there's definitely another side of it, right? If we saying that men aren't natural protectors, then what does that have to put in question for women? If we saying men being protective is not innate, man, that gave me cause for pause. Let's play through this clip right here just to set the stage, because I'm just not so sure about it. But the conversation was magnificent, for sure. Where I stand is that men have natural proclivities to be better at things such as physical prowess, right? So protection would fall under that, guys, right? The aggression that you get from testosterone, right, and to have a little bit more bravado and to be bullheaded goes exactly towards the traits necessary to be a successful protector, right? If you have a natural proclivity, a natural inclination to do something, and then you're molded to do that thing, it was natural to you, which is why you are good at it, right? Like, so there are certain people that play certain sports, and as you say, somebody has a knack for something. So when you see that somebody has a knack for something, then you build upon that, right? You play into it, you foster it. But if there's nothing there to begin with, it don't matter how much you pour into that person, they will not be capable of doing the thing that you ask them to do. So I liken the protection for most men being protectors and certainly not being cowards, because the God-given gifts that we're given allow us to be more successful in that realm. So then when you see those things fostered, and boys become men, and they protect everything that's theirs, things around them, things that are vulnerable, it's because they already had that capability and then it was molded, right? And then you hone that skill, or you help him hone that skill, then he becomes, top 10 football players to ever live. If we put that shit in question, the natural nurture of women, it has to go in question, right? We have to assess it to see if women are natural nurturers. Do they have innate traits that can be fostered to get them to be uberly successful in that particular realm? First and foremost, right, I just want to set the baseline of which is the catalyst for the reason why I wanted to continue this conversation as opposed to doing a recap of all the shows, you know what I mean? So this is a clip I put out this morning, dope clip. It's the women talking. Now, in terms of prefacing the clip specifically, Sean Antonio agreed with the sentiment that the women are about to share, right? Now, a lot of what he's saying is from tangible experience, right? If you know Sean, he's been through hell and high water. He's also uberly successful, went to college, was outside. You know what I'm saying? He come from that old Chicago life where he's seen it, he's been through it, and he put in whatever pain he needed to as well. You feel me? So his is coming from tangible experience, and although it be anecdotal, right, you take it at face value, and what he's saying is honest and truthful based on his experience. Feel me? So, but the reason why I thought this clip, one, it was fun just to back and forth, but two, look how they talking, look how the women are talking and see us. The majority of men are cowards. The majority of men are cowards. The majority of men are cowards. You have to read between the lines with UFO. He know too much. He's seen too. So I need to understand what he means, right? So UFO, is this how I see UFO saying that? UFO saying that meaning he is not afraid to walk away from the fight for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of somebody's health or his people. So if he can be the bigger person in a given situation, right, and get home safe, unscathed, he ain't scared. He ain't fearful. He making a smart decision. Right? That ain't cowardice. You know what I'm saying? That's not see, UFO, I already know you too well. That ain't cowardice, right? There's been times when I've been out, I'm about to DJ, like two cats is drunk as hell. They bumping everybody, he's trying to fight and shit like that. And so the dude like bump into me, he like grabbed my book bag on some weird shit. I'm like, yo, chill, like, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of like tapped him on his head, like, yo, the tap on the head was probably diabolical. I ain't gonna hold you, right? Because it did irk me, that he like tugged on my book bag. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of tapped him like, chill, beloved. Like, it ain't that deep. Go chill, man. You know what I'm saying? Take a look at this, man. Yo, stupid. Go ahead, Dad. Go ahead. I got you, bro. Go ahead. You said most men are cowards? Why?
Sean.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Come on. You got it. Why do you think men are cowards?
I would say that most of them are not. Oh Lord, most of them are not really taught how to really be in touch with their masculinity. They're taught how to perform in a masculine way.
Look at Shy face.
They're taught how to perform in a masculine way, but not when it comes down to it and they really have to defend themselves and survive. Most of them will bow out. They're not brave enough to do it.
So you saying men, they wouldn't protect themselves? So Jay says
most men are cowards.
Not only won't they protect other people, they won't even protect themselves. That shit sounds crazy to me. Said facts.
Hands up, don't kill me.
Nick, what up, my boy?
No.
I'm not saying you. Oh my God. I didn't say no name. I said most. So if you're not most, take yourself out of the most.
No, that's not how most works though, Jay. It's 1, 2. Nah, take this one with me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you say most, you gotta be including men. Because he tried to say, and not talking about y'all, but if you say most, you gotta be including people that's sitting here. You have to. Know what I'm saying? Sitting here right now.
Okay, well. If the shoe fit, man, I'm sorry. Shoe fit.
Oh, you're just saying most men. Have you seen most men run?
Yeah.
When?
From a fight?
How many fights have you seen?
From their life being put on the line? And they gotta die? I've seen most of them run. What you mean?
Yeah, but Jalen, where give us one of these scenarios though. That's what I'm saying.
Why?
What has happened in this scenario where his life was on the line, so he booked? You saying he didn't have the strap and the other nigga did?
Man, outside of the hood, most men are running if there's a sign of danger.
I know, but I asked you specifically. You seen this? You like, yeah, I seen wild niggas running and all that.
Niggas not running.
I seen a bunch of niggas run.
Jalen, if there is a man bigger and badder than you, most of y'all ain't gonna take his ass on.
It's 7 of us. How many of us running?
7.
Depending on the situation.
Everybody on YouTube where they draws outside their pants.
Hey,
all y'all.
Jalen, how many of us running?
I was on 87 busting and Blackstone's about to move on me, nigga. Gotta get about that jam, nigga.
No. Here's the thing, right? Here's what this reason why we asked, because I asked, you seen this from most men? And you like, hell yeah. And we just asked if like, what was the time where you seen this?
Yeah. What was the context? What was the situation?
Like I said, if a man is bigger, stronger, he just looks more intimidating, most of y'all gonna run.
Can we get specific on the situation you seen specifically?
Yeah, you said you've been seeing this shit all over the place.
One of yours.
Oh, you're a cop. Shit, cop. Anybody who has
cop got a gun.
So I thought you were brave and shit. Y'all gonna take him.
So that's avoiding being arrested. That's not the same thing.
How's it not the same?
You can't fight the cop and win. That's why. There's no situation where I put up my dukes with a
them YNs be still trying. But okay.
No, they don't.
They don't now? They don't be doing it? So they be running? They be running out here? No, the YNs be running too?
No,
y'all just think they be fighting for their life?
No, Jalen, what it is you have to understand what's happening in these situations, right?
Sure.
When Jake come, you said men are running from bigger and stronger men, pause, right? I don't know who introduced Jake. I think Sean said cop a plea. You thought he said cop. He's saying niggas cop a plea like when somebody run down on him like a man-to-man shit.
Yeah, niggas get punked every day, B.
No, I know. I'm just saying that's what you were saying. I think she thought you said cop. That's all. Yeah. But then, like, what you said, you seen niggas running all like Scooby-Doo in this motherfucker. I mean, we just trying to understand, like, where was you seeing this at? Because then you said it's outside the hood too. Are you saying that's your notion?
No, that's what I've seen.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what happened? Fight you
and all that. Huh?
Most men ain't fighting. They gonna find any reason not to fight.
Can you tell us some stories?
Like, I don't get how else I need to say it.
So, y'all heard that so far. Most men are running. Most men are scared. Most men are cowards. So, Sean, what's goody? What's poppin'? My brother Sean Antonio in the building with the $5 says this was a great conversation. That's a fact, though. For sure. Tools. Quincy, what up? Black Dawn 2 EP, what up? Black Dawn, what up? Salute. Lux put mad ones. Hell nah. Yo, it is crazy. Most twos. It's almost like he just a straight up like a wimp. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
Be direct what I'm saying.
Well,
I don't
because
need
it
why
gives
this-
it.
Okay.
Because if I
tell you
say
why.
a story, it's gonna be anecdotal, so I don't want to go
That's
there.
what we was asking though. We was asking
one
like,
anecdote.
what was the
Yeah.
situation? I want to laugh. Niggas can't laugh. I want to laugh. You know what I mean? Now, I thought you was going to say this, and I'm going to go to Charlotte, Mr. Fantastic. I thought you was going to say this, Jalen. When it was time to put the gloves on, niggas disappeared.
Yeah.
He gave you one.
I thought you was going to use
There
that.
you go.
glove-
Hell no. Why would I do that? Why would I do
Because
that?
that's the only situation you actually know about. You ain't around no killing, letting niggas die. You ain't around that shit.
I ain't around nobody. You
No,
right.
you just said it also outside the hood. You ain't doing that type of
I
shit.
don't know nothing.
You go to tea
Right.
parties and zoos and fucking what's the other thing? Art museums and shit. You ain't, I mean, you got your
I
head
don't
on your
know, I
shoulders.
don't know nothing. You're right.
I'm just saying you don't know that, and that's a good thing. That's all I'm saying.
Jalen,
Okay.
if they come spinning on the block, niggas with guns gonna drop.
And plus, Jay told us she want men that's all the way the other side. Feel me? So that's not what she putting herself around. She not in those type of environments. You know what I'm saying? The tea party was crazy. You know?
They're scary. Their pockets go.
Okay, now Relly says she opens up. Hold on, let me rewind a little bit.
I don't know nothing. You're right.
I'm just saying you don't know that, and that's a good thing. That's all I'm saying.
Jalen,
Okay.
if they come spinning on the block, niggas with guns gonna drop.
So she said, if they come spinning on the block, niggas with guns are gonna drop, right? This is what like behooves me, or excuse me, baffles me a bit, right? It leave me confounded, right? Because Rel also told us she got 20 niggas that'll spin for her. She got 20 niggas around her way that'll spin for her. But now everybody that got the strap around the way gonna drop. I don't know. Let's listen some more though. Yo, you know I attend tea parties at least once a week. You know, free zone tea parties on my mind. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's look at it. Let me see.
They're scary. Their pockets go.
I already know they're scary, but I don't know nothing, Sherelle. I don't know
Ask
nothing.
them to enter their clip because the majority of them never let one off, and so many people have lost their friendships like that,
Yeah,
even
you
with
just-
guns in their pockets.
You naming cowards,
Niggas
right?
is cowards.
You introduce
Niggas
guns.
live
You
in
introduce
whole
guns.
countries with dictators.
You
Where they know
introduce
that there's
guns.
The majority of the population, and they
Who?
let one man in a group of principalities rule over them.
What countries are a dictatorship? What countries are a dictatorship?
Groups of men all over the world are.
What countries are a dictatorship?
A bunch of countries are in dictatorship. We damn near in a dictatorship.
Which one? No. You can't just say it's like a dictatorship. What I'm asking very specifically, what country? No. What countries are dictatorships? Go.
Men are
No. I need to know. This is also a lesson in getting great equipment. So my microphone is so much louder than hers and crisp. I was just noticing like how well you can hear me over her actually. But the couple things that she presented was a bunch of dictatorships. I was simply saying where, who, what, and then basically the United States is a dictatorship. And then introduction of guns is what Sean and I was talking about, where the dude who's gonna go run and get a gun during the confrontation that was hand to hand is a coward. And instantly she started talking about people who have guns are cowards. And I'm just trying to follow the logic. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep rolling. What countries are dictatorships?
Google countries that's
No, I didn't say that. I asked the question because she said it as though there's a whole rack of countries being ruled by dictators. So we asked the question, name them. But you could say North Korea, but rattle them off because the allegation is that there's all these countries that are ruled by one man, and therefore that makes all other men cowards. So you can't say a thing and then say the United States might as well be a dictatorship. That's not it. You said niggas is living all around the world with dictatorships.
No,
What country?
With dictators.
Tell me. Go ahead. You said it. Go ahead.
You Google it. That's not the point.
No, because it's a false premise.
It's not a false premise.
You're just saying it. Where are the? Go ahead, name me the countries. Go ahead.
You're saying there's no countries with dictators?
I didn't say none, but you said it's all over the world. So tell me where. Tell me where.
Up to the little bit. At the end of the day,
Tell me where.
Where the vast minority
where.
of people are controlling groups of people. Niggas is cowards. Niggas is getting pushed around, getting told what to do, following in lines.
See.
And the moment that you break out of line, you're gonna get put in jail. You're controlled. I keep.
Bro, how many countries are a dictatorship?
Proving my premise. Y'all in a controlled environment. Y'all ain't innately shit.
Mm.
Y'all being told what to do.
So now the allegation is because we abide by the laws, we're cowards. Think about this. Because you obey the laws, that makes you a coward. Because you obey the laws of the land, that makes you a coward. Why? What benefit do I have to break a bunch of laws? Do I benefit from breaking said laws? So like, because we not wilding? So we not wilding, so we cowards. Davey, let's rewind it back. He said,
And the moment that you break out of line, you're gonna get put in jail.
and if we don't abide by the laws, we go to jail. We don't want to go to jail, so we cowards.
What?
Yeah, most of y'all niggas is scary. That's why y'all be
Okay,
talking shit on the
so you're
internet.
saying-
Y'all wanna meet up at them
so
phones,
think about this, right?
That's why y'all talk shit to each other on the internet, and then when you get up at them,
Yeah, we already did that
y'all
one.
scary.
We've already mentioned that one. You have one anecdotal sample of a very small micro. Good point, but you have to say that specifically, right? You can't just say if we break out of line, we go to jail for doing what, right? So, like for instance, there was a man who broke into a CVS, right, to get his wife's medicine, and then he went back the next day, let him know, and actually paid his little copay. Right? So he broke the law knowingly, but for a greater cause. But if you don't put a qualifier in here, right, that blanket statement it becomes moot, because the statement was you break out of line, you go to jail. And I'm just wondering if because men follow laws that make men cowards, and I disagree. And let's say a law is put in place. What do you do to actually change a law? You have to legislate for a group, right? So now the men that were in the military, right, and they're under a hierarchy, right? When they have agreed, if necessary, they may have to go to war for the country. Are you saying that those men are cowards because they obey the hierarchy that they subscribe to?
No, I'm not talking about them. Them niggas got guns, right?
What?
At the end of the day, a lot of them don't feel like they going to war when they join the military. A lot of niggas join the military for benefits.
Sherelle, you just said the niggas around the way.
Because I'm not talking about the military. I'm talking about dictators.
Wait,
I'm
you
talking
can't.
about people.
You have to reconcile these points though. So you said they got guns. Maybe you didn't mean to say that, because you just said previously all these niggas around your way that got guns is folding. So guns don't mean
Exactly.
nothing.
So that's what I'm saying. It's still gonna be the same shit in the military. They gotta be training them with guns. If they had to go combat for combat, when they had to go combat for combat and the weapons wasn't as big and them niggas could really die, y'all used to have to physically draft them. Still right now is a selective service.
So this part interesting. The guns wasn't as big. What guns did she think they were using in Vietnam? You think they had muskets, really? You think they had muskets? They had automatic weapons. You know that, right? Niggas was really dying. You know that, right? Like that's so she's saying that we had a draft for that war specifically. But let's keep going.
Cause they gonna have to force y'all. They gonna say they saying go to war and go to jail. Cause niggas
It's not in action.
They wouldn't have laws that say y'all gotta go to war or go to jail if niggas wasn't scary. They know niggas would be like, fuck it, I ain't going to war. So they give you an option to go to jail. Lose your
Was you ready to kill?
That's what selective services is, right?
Was you ready to kill?
Is not the selective service is not wrong.
That's because that's so that you can be right there for the draft. That's what the draft was about. The draft was about.
Let me see it. Sorry, the draft is inaccurate.
You're going to go to jail. Why did they make that law? Because niggas is scary.
When the last time they drafted somebody?
It don't matter. Why did they make that law?
It gotta matter.
It do matter because it's peaceful.
When are we? When are we?
Peaceful.
Let me ask y'all a question. If you know what occupancy means, right? When are we not at war? We're
Niggas
at
is-
war.
but we're controlling shit.
Hold on,
too.
Sherelle. Here's the thing. We occupy so many countries, right? You understand that we are always at war, right? We haven't had to draft anybody since the 60s, right? Am I mistaken? Or late 70s or early
That
70s.
long ago, y'all still be bringing up.
We're in the 60s.
What I'm saying is we've been at war. Hold on. We've been at war and we haven't had to draft anybody for, well, how many years is that? 70, 60, 70?
But have you been obtuse right now because you understand this because we're literally the big fish. We're not occupying shit. We're not warring with them. We're bullying people all around. Exactly what you're bullying.
Who's okay, wait. Watch this though.
Other countries.
Watch this though. Watch this. Watch how crazy that is. So now it's a bunch of men from here bullying other men, but now we cowards.
Majority.
We bullying all around the globe, but we cowards.
No, America is bullies. The cowards are the ones who controlling more
This
people.
is crazy. So the military, and this was a fun conversation. The military, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, is like 86% men, right? And so she's saying we bullying all around the globe, we holding shit down, we occupy, but that's a bunch of cowards doing that job, doing that work, you know. And we fought wars after, and you know, we have different insurgents, all types of stuff happening, and they haven't had to draft anybody. Hey, yo, this is crazy though. All right, hold your horses.
Because you're being obtuse.
No, I'm just breaking down the point. The point is nasty work.
You've been losing, and you.
No. See, I don't even have to. See, here's the thing about the actual conversation. I don't even have to yell out no dumb shit like Cheryl, I'm kicking your ass. It's just obvious. Shop, what's poppin'? Push me to say, okay, so we mined it out through the men. Make sure y'all go watch that live stream, if y'all can, you know. So then, what do we put in question? So it said men aren't innately protectors and providers. That's what's on the table, right? Men innately aren't protectors and providers. Innately, we don't do that. We had to be strictly nurtured in or pushed that way, you know? And that was the discourse back and forth, saying, no. Men do these things innately, right? Just because they're fostered, that's already in them, which is why you can make them be that way, you know? So what we were pinpointing on was protection, right? That protective nature of men over, you know, women and children, each other, and etc. So now, if we turn the tide, if men are cowards, women are forsaken. And what I mean by that is they aren't nurturers. A nurturer mantra, they say women are natural nurturers, they're the best nurturers, etc. Sean actually made a statement at the end of the show. He said men are the best nurturers. But we have to put that under the microscope, because I feel like, and I'm saying feel, that protection and that nurture are kind of on the same vein, right? But for the opposite sides. I say, okay, women aren't natural nurturers. Can I find a bunch of examples that prove that point? And there's some diabolical shit that's going on out here. That's for damn sure, man. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. This is the case of Travis Rudolph.
You see in this video right here, she's clearly beating on him. Whoa. Crazy. Whoa.
True that you were the first person to become physically violent with Travis and not the other way around? No, not at all.
Liar.
Something or show me something if I can't recall the exact steps of the moments.
Lying ass bitch.
Okay, so you were the first one to become physically violent with Travis, not the other way around. Answer, correct. Yes, that's correct. You remember that? Yes. So you smashed his iPhone not out of anger, but because you were hurt? Yes. And I didn't send my brothers to kill him. You just sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right? I didn't say shoot him. You sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right? Correct.
4 men, Kayshawn Jones, Christopher Lowe, Sebastian John Jakes, Tyler Robinson, appeared on Rudolph's doorstep shortly after midnight to confront Rudolph. The dispute turned violent. John Jacques was shot and killed. Listen to what she's saying. This is at the trial. This is at the trial. So the boy is already dead. She already sent her brothers over there saying, shoot this shit up. Don't shoot him, as though you can differentiate, like bullets got a name on it, right?
When you're angry, you say things. I'm sure everyone in this courtroom has said something when I'm trying to speak. If you want me to answer your question, you have to let me answer your question. So you were responsive to my question. I wouldn't have.
All right. Answer the question, please.
Okay. Can you repeat your question?
Question was shit. What does shit mean in the context of that text?
Anything but him.
So she says, go shoot his shit up. Her brother says he's a dead man walking. There's no reply after that. In terms of no, don't shoot him. Right? She said, I'm sure we've all said something like this, egregious like this before, out of anger and spite. But the difference is the boy ended up dead. Travis Rudolph let off, 60 shots, right? The reason why this example is so pertinent is because this happens. I say this all the time. You go to the hood right now, there's the first grave's about $1, the next one about a woman, for whatever the reasons are. I know these 2 boys who are now dead. One died over the sink. The other one died in the grass with his ass in the air. And the girl that they was going back and forth about, when he went over there with the burner, they both dead. She the one called the police. So this is the absolute opposite of nurture, for sure. So this one says, Black women appalled by the concept of integrity. Now the headline is salacious, but in the vein, right? When our child walked out of the store with candy she didn't pay for because he didn't realize she grabbed it. So he went back and paid for it, shaking my head. So this is a blurb that's usually put on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? The typing in. And this is the response to him bringing the candy back in the store.
So you went back in there and paid for a candy that she had already walked out the store with?
Yeah, she's
Why would you do that? I would never do something like that. I would just leave.
It's called integrity.
Is this how we were coached? You know, is this the concept? And this is just one lady, you know what I'm saying? But just looking at a bunch of different things, right? In terms of there's nurture natural. Because this is a little girl, right? Child, and she just took the stuff, and the kids do that all the time, you know? But the father made sure to turn back and bring it back in the store. The mom is like flabbergasted why he would do that in the first place. And it doesn't look like this is framed. It looked like she is actually recording it. So I just wonder what this is. Does this speak against the natural nurture? Because she knows right from wrong. The baby doesn't. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. This doesn't seem naturally nurturing. This seems like the absolute opposite based on what I've heard from this particular story. Even the text messages that said, I'm going to potentially take myself out while I have a kid. That's forsaking everything else that's important to you. Even putting that in the text message. But is her nature to forsake or to nurture?
In a relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate. I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling, with my words, everything. I'm good at that, right? And if I gotta yell or check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person. But if somebody pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries. Sorry.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason.
Put it down.
I you know. I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me.
I am nosy, number one. Number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So
is the Aries sign? I don't know nothing about the sign. I don't know nothing about that. All praises. But she keeps saying, I'm an Aries, right? But we're looking at, it's nurture. So is nurture under scrutiny? Are women naturally nurturers? Nothing that she said in those clips, nothing she presented would speak against it. They would prove that really it would be the opposite. She literally said, I like drama. I like to start drama. I'm an Aries. I'm a get back person, etc., etc. As we go through that case. So Academics was talking about it. And I know he usually does like a good job of kind of breaking stuff down a little bit.
Vision of becoming a big label owner, serious instead of shitting on my dreams every second you get. Then Hallie says, if you don't want to be with me, that's okay. I won't beg no more. I will be successful. I don't need to be with someone who's going to demean me. You like that I'm insecure. It makes you feel good about yourself. I'm not doing this anymore. Keep your phone on airplane mode, but when I die, don't say shit. Chat, I've seen chat. This gonna sound maybe I'm damaged. I don't know. I've seen some shit. Chat, you ever seen like your girl about like she like, yeah, I'm ending it. You're like, wait, hold on now. Hold on now. It says, fuck you. Oh, it says, don't come to my funeral or nothing. By the way, I would wonder if she's drinking, but it's 12:35 in 12:35 p.m. It's afternoon. Fuck you. Don't come to my funeral or nothing. Be happy when these are the last text messages you get from me. Oh my God. Crazy how the one person I thought I could trust to be there for me constantly proves me wrong. You are wrong. You know that emotionally I struggle and have a hard time. Yet when I'm obviously going through something, you ignore me until I go crazy. Throw it in my face, my insecurity, and laugh about it. You put your phone on airplane mode and says you're not dealing with it. But when something bad happens, don't say anything because this was my attempt to beg you to listen to me. Just answer the phone. Hear me out. Try to understand where I'm coming from, but you don't. You'll regret it. You regret meeting me. Go back to the bitches you're used to. Go back to fucking thoughts. That's what you want. You never wanted anyone like me. You and your family hates me. Just admit it, but it's okay. Everyone does. But Poseidon, what? I will go and fly and just be fine in heaven. What the hell? She getting poetic? What type of poetic death threat is this? Be just fine in heaven without any of this, without any of you rude people making me feel bad about myself. And if you can show these texts to whoever you want, laugh about it. Laugh about it. Goodbye, Daryl. Yeah, I was in the shower. You good?
Does this speak to the lack of nurture being natural? Is this just manipulation here? You know what I'm saying? I wonder what this is specifically. But does it speak against women being naturally nurturing? Because this shit seems crazy to me. Sound like he want to see the baby. You know, it's one of those things. But if this stuff and he released these tweets and they go into court and he got a restraining order and they fighting for the baby, I think he just put out something to where she can't take the baby out of the country. But naturally nurturing, is nurturing an innate trait for the women? Because I thought protection was innate in men, but it was questioned over and over. Is nurture natural when it comes to women? Let me show you guys this one.
Asking the court to set your child support at today.
Honestly, I'm not expecting to pay child support at all.
You want the court to set it at 0?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why are you asking for $0?
Because me and Miss McDuffie fully co-parent. I fully get my son throughout the week, 4 days out the week. I'm fully capable of taking care of him when he's in my custody. She does the same as well. So I don't understand why I would be paying child support when we split. When she have him, she take care of him, and when I have him, I take care of him. She don't drop him off with anything. I don't drop him off with anything, and we fully take care of him. So I don't see why we have to pay extra.
When did you and Miss McDuff stop living together?
I would say the ending of March of 2024.
And since that time, have you paid any money directly to Miss McDuff?
Yes.
How much?
Because they're emotional doesn't mean they're not naturally nurturing. But if the emotions continue to override your ability to be nurturing and you can't show it, and instead you are vindictive and manipulative, that natural nurture doesn't rear its head, therefore it doesn't exist, right? Actions speak, right? You could say everything you want, but if every action that you exude speak against your natural proclivity, then that proclivity doesn't exist, right? Because y'all were saying if men run, that means they're cowards, so by proxy they're not protected. So if your emotions continue to override your natural ability to be nurturing, instead you're vindictive and manipulative, you are not nurturing.
Okay. Are you in agreement to the order containing a retroactive child support judgment against you after credit, or are you asking that you be ordered to pay $0 in back child support?
Pay 0 in back child support.
Okay, can you tell the court why?
This is interesting, and I'm saying it and I mean it, right? No matter how he feel about his wife in a given time, no matter how much the kids get on his nerves, right? Not be on guard. You don't get to not protect if you're responsible for those people. So if I'm so upset and in my emotions at my wife and something were to happen, flat tire, right? She run out of gas, middle of the night, car battery stalls, right? Somebody trying to accost her, hurt her. She with me, somebody's disrespectful, somebody kicks in the door, right? I'm supposed to protect at all times, regardless of how I feel, because this is natural.
I wouldn't understand why I'd be paying back child support, because when we only been split for a year. Before then, I was paying the rent, the bills. We were both taking care of the kids. It was no problem. We only been split for a year, and I still get my kid 4 days out the week, and I'm fully taking care of my kid when he's in my care, and she fully take care of him when she's in his care.
Okay, and right now you're seeing the child at least
4. I would get him Thursday afternoon, Monday afternoon.
Do you have any safety concerns, Mr. Fox, with Ms. McDuff knowing your address?
No, sir.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Okay, then I will accept the agreed portions of this order, make the agreed portions the order of the court. I will order child support at $429 per month. I will order a retroactive child support judgment of $5,400 per month. Order that paid at $90 per month. Order court costs as billed. Anything further, Mr. Dell? The exchange location. The exchange location will be at the residence of the child. Mr. Fox, it is your obligation to pick this child up and take this child back home. Anything you and Miss McDuff agree to outside of that is fine. But neither one of you have safety concerns, so I don't see any reason to do a neutral exchange location.
So I know this one may seem like how do you connect this, you know? And maybe I don't 100% know, but when I was looking, and because she will send me so many clips, this one spoke to this topic to me for some reason, you know? So they broke up, they got a kid. He has the kid 4 days a week. How many days in a week? 7? He has a kid 4 days a week. And he's simply saying we share responsibility. Why is this happening, essentially? And I'm just looking at the girl, I'm looking at the judge, and they don't give a fuck about nothing he's saying when it's completely viable. And I'm just wondering about the dynamics. And I think what happens in the court of law when someone is allocated as a custodial, that person the opportunity to ask for child support, essentially. They don't give a damn. And I don't know why I said I gotta play this for the nurture, putting nurture under a microscope, but I'm just like,
yo, Judge, do you got a son?
like, do you got any type of, I don't know, it just spoke to me in that way, you know what I'm saying? When the judge starts speaking, she's talking about the guideline agreed upon and whatever the case is, but what he said was 100% on point. She don't drop him off anything, I don't drop off anything, and then $5,000 in retroactive child support because y'all were together, y'all broke up for a year, y'all been co-parenting the child, but she takes you to child support and asks for money in arrears and you have to pay it. And it's just like the judge just, I'm granting this. I'm bugging. And the reason why these examples make sense is because essentially this shit is diabolical. So it is difficult for me to believe that these women in these anecdotal examples are going to be the nurture that we dream about when we think about, you know, the women that hopefully treated us right in our lives, like our moms, as an example, and then put these women in the same category. So this is the Zion Williamson.
So before I answer that, I would like to say I really hope all the victims, including me, get justice, and, you know, things that have happened in the past with him and with anybody else, you know, everything gets resolved, because a lot of us don't deserve that. And you know, I just feel like a lot of things have been swept under the rug for so long, you know, and I feel sorry to the victim. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff with him, and it's just shocking, you know.
Has this suit that you saw, you know, drop just now, given you any feelings like, hey, you know, or inspiration to file your own grievances, your own suit?
I don't want to talk about that right now without my lawyer present, but I'm just shocked, and, you know, hopefully he changes and the victim and me and everyone else can find comfort and, you know, move past all this.
Any message to Zion himself?
Zion, I hope you can change your ways and, you know, just change, because this is disgusting what you're doing to everyone, and it's just not right. And this is not the man that I met a few years back. This is not who I thought you would become. This is not a representation of, you know, your job, and, you know, this is very serious. And I just hope you change your ways, because your job and your family and your legacy is on the line. This is serious.
So this is Zion Williamson. She's a porn star that he laid with, whatever the case is. So now he got lawsuits, accusations of rape and all types of shit, right? And that shit is very serious, you know. She's calculating when she's talking to the TMZ. But then look at this, when she not being interviewed and the lawyer ain't present, and this is just a short clip. So I'm looking at this being can be so nurturing, but you can get to this level of vitriol. But if the nurture is natural, you would think the innate nurture of the person will override.
Well, now that your NBA career is officially potentially over, that means no money for me equals no money for you.
I'm just looking at the fact you nurturing, but this, like, you did some like Dr. Evil shit. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. Have y'all seen this person? The natural nature of a woman is to be nurturing.
Anthony now on TikTok, let's recap why she's so awful. In July of 2008, Cindy Anthony reported her 2-year-old granddaughter Kaylee missing, claiming she hadn't seen her in more than a month. The toddler's mother, Casey, had told various lies about Kaylee's whereabouts, before eventually admitting that she hadn't seen her daughter for weeks, during which time she'd been out partying. 5 months later, Kaylee's remains were found near the Anthony home with duct tape around the skull, and Casey was charged with first-degree murder. During her trial, prosecutors alleged that Casey wished to free herself from parental responsibilities and killed her daughter by drugging her and duct taping her nose and mouth. The defense otherwise argued that Casey simply suffered from pathological lying and that Kaylee's death was accidental. To the disbelief of millions across the country, Casey was soon acquitted of the murder charge, but found guilty on providing false information to law enforcement. She was released after serving just 3 years in prison and remains free to this day.
Murder. Verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity.
So when it even says that she did 3 years, it's because the trial took so long. So she was in prison while the trial was taking place. So it's not like she got sentenced to 3 years, but she was going through trial, waiting on trial. So she was in prison for jail for 3 years. But if y'all don't know a lot about this case, one thing that gave everybody such alarm is that while they're looking for the baby is lost. She's on camera partying, drinking. It was alleged that she just didn't want to be a parent anymore, but wanted to get her life back, and that's why she allegedly did what she did, but she was exonerated for it, although most people in the court of public opinion haven't exonerated her yet. Here's what I'm asking. If the person is naturally nurturing, we're just wondering, like, how do you get to this levels, right? You would think that the innate traits would override, but we see such diabolical anecdotal examples. And you're just like, damn, how much of this can we extrapolate to the greater populace?
Middlesboro, Kentucky is a small community with a population of less than 10,000. It is located between the Pine and the Cumberland Mountains, nestled within an enormous meteorite crater, which is the Middlesboro Basin. Middlesboro is the only city within the continental United States that was built within a crater, and the largest city in southeastern Kentucky. But it's also where a girl named Elena Rosalie Hembry was born on February 20th, 2022. Her parents, Erica and Trey, were both only 19 at the time of her birth. Elena was a bright, blue-eyed baby with round, chubby cheeks and sandy brown hair. She was described as goofy and always laughing by her family. Elena also had an older sister who reportedly lived with her grandparents. Elena's mother's social media showcased multiple videos of her dancing with her child, soundtrack to sentimental music. Erica Lawson's TikTok specifically appears to have been removed, but clips from her account have been re-uploaded and continue to circulate on the platform as well as on YouTube.
As young couples often do, Erica Lawson and Trey Hembry ultimately separated not long after Elena's birth. After relocating to Mount Vernon, roughly an hour-and-a-half drive north of Middlesboro, Elena's mother maintained primary custody of Elena. However, some concerns regarding Elena's welfare began to arise in the late spring, early summer of 2023. It was during this period when Erica Lawson's uncle reported signs of CA to the Middlesboro Police Department. According to these reports, her uncle allegedly witnessed burns on Elena's knees, as well as bruising on the child. The police responded to these allegations, but were unable to locate the child or her mother when attempting to make contact. Only a few weeks after the reports of CA surfaced, Erica brought her 17-month-old daughter to Middlesboro Appalachian Regional Healthcare Hospital on July 28, 2023. The child's mother informed hospital staff that Elena was having trouble breathing. Allegedly, Elena had been struggling to breathe for upwards of 45 minutes before her mother decided to seek medical attention. Shortly after arriving at the hospital, it was evident that her condition was dire, and Elena was airlifted to East Tennessee Children's Hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee. It has since been reported via social media that Erica Lawson drove to the hospital in her vehicle while the child's father, Trey, and his parents accompanied Elena in the helicopter. The baby was placed on a respirator and stabilized by medical staff, but tragically, Elena failed to show any brain activity not long after arriving in Tennessee. 2 days after being brought to the hospital, Elena Hembry passed away on July 30th, 2023. A currently unverified Knox County forensic document circulating on TikTok states that the child allegedly suffered skull trauma and had widespread bruising, which included the child's anal region. The nature and area of the bruising suggests that Elena suffered not only physical violence, but SA as well.
The police were immediately notified of the toddler's death, and 21-year-old Erica Lawson was subsequently arrested. Elena's mother was charged with manslaughter, criminal abuse to a child under 12 years old, failure to report CA, and wanton endangerment. Now, wanton endangerment refers to any crime that involves reckless or wrongful conduct, creating the risk of death or serious injury to another. Days later, on August 4th, the Middlesboro Police Department released a statement regarding Elena Hembry's death on their Facebook page. In addition to the evidence gathered in the investigation, DNA samples were taken from multiple subjects questioned in the case. The Middlesboro Police Department stated that these DNA samples had been sent out for testing, emphasizing that law enforcement was making every effort to ensure that proper protocol was being followed to bring those responsible to justice. Meanwhile, the police urged the public to be patient. The Middlesboro Police Department claimed that the DNA results could take up to a year to return due to the number of samples and the complexity of the case. While building their case, the state alleged that Erica Lawson had failed to provide aid to the child after learning that Elena was struggling to breathe. Also on their Facebook page, the Middlesbrough Police Department insinuated SA had occurred in the time leading up to Elena's death. For obvious reasons, this caused an uproar on social media, with individuals online wishing death upon the child's mother, Erica Lawson.
On August 22nd, after waiving a preliminary hearing date, Erica Lawson was indicted on 4 counts, including murder. The other counts were failure to report child dependency, neglect, or abuse, criminal abuse, and wanton endangerment. This last charge, the state alleged, was regarding her alleged drug use while Elena was under her care. That same day, prosecutor Lisa Fugate proudly toted on her Facebook page the following quote: "Today I had the privilege of presenting the case against Erica Lawson to a Bell County grand jury. I'm proud to say Erica Lawson now stands charged with the murder of her 17-month-old baby." The post included a screenshot of the newly filed indictment. The thread that ensued underneath this post exhibited the strong bias that had already formed amongst the Middlesbrough community regarding the alleged factors involved in Elena's death. The citizens demanded to know the names of other culprits they thought were potentially involved and what their charges would be. In response, Commonwealth Attorney Lisa Fugate promised the public that the DNA analysis was being expedited. The prosecutor boldly said that the results were going to come any day and that those involved would be brought to justice. On September 5th, 2023, Erica Lawson was officially arraigned. Commonwealth announced its intention to pursue the death penalty by filing a motion of aggravated circumstances in the case. This was boasted once again by Lisa Fugate on social media. Prosecutor Fugate promised the public that the Commonwealth would get the death penalty for Erica Lawson, a vow she continued to post over the next few months. This social media activity would inevitably become a major part of the defense's exhibits in future proceedings.
So one thing here, right, when the baby passed, the DNA swabs that they took from the baby, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they found semen DNA sample, different DNA from either 5 men or 7 men, 5 to 7 different DNA samples from 7 different people. And the baby couldn't breathe for 45 minutes before they even elected to give her care. Why? Because of what was happening to her.